Okay, thank you everyone for coming today. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit like I can't project my voice. I'm sure that I'll sound better as I continue. Let's start off with some announcements. So if you do want to submit your work for Critique Hour and you're not sure how to do it, you can do so by going to istebrak.com and clicking on the Reddit icon here. That'll take you to our Reddit. Currently there's a challenge up in the community, and it's the Ancient Weapon Design Challenge. It's really fun. I really encourage you guys to try it. Please don't sketch like a scene from here, so you're supposed to download the resource pack. Don't draw any random scene with a background like a comic panel. Make sure you're drawing the character design itself. So you must design the bow and the champion as active. Like, don't draw them sitting looking out a window or something. Do not draw the bow the way we see it in the outer narrative, ages past. Draw her as she looked when she descended from the sky, bow in hand. Please remember that. There will be rewards for this challenge. So you get for being creative, there's two types of rewards. There's the community pool, and then there's the judges, which is me. Judges reward is critique hours with me, so portfolio reviews with me. A series of private tutoring sessions where we work on evolving your character design skills, and recreating like different challenges for you and continuing that, kind of keeping up the momentum. And it's not always the best piece that was drawn or the most creative, the most skilled. It's not always that the most skilled is the most creative. So I will most likely reward it to just what I've written here. So innovation, the work you've put in, the dedication, the inventiveness, the creativity, the ingenuity, and the imagination. So remember that it is Aztec, but if you've ever watched the Critique Hour from that time, you'll see that it is really, really up for interpretation. So Aztec has different, ways to interpret their art, different avenues of employing the design aesthetic that is Aztec, or you can even mess around with Mayan if you wanted to and overlap the two, not that they're the same. Just because art is so what's the word? I forget the word. It's at the tip of my tongue. It's like something that it's borderless, so it can take from one thing and unify them. I'm sure Gabby remembers the word. I'm sure Gabby knows exactly what word I'm trying to use, and I just don't know the word. It's not homogeneous. Is it homogeneous? It's not homogeneous. I don't think it's. Alright, so really cool designs from that challenge from 3 years ago, February 2018. That was when it was due, and most likely some people have been asking me when it will be due, because it's such an extensive fluid. Yeah, fluid's a good word. Because it's such a I put it on normal latency, sorry guys. Extensive character design, and most of you are pretty new to character design. I might give you a month and a half. So a month and a half from when I announced it, which is around the 4th. So February 15th, maybe like the 11th or the 18th, it'll be due sometime then. Maybe the last critique hour of February, so the 25th. We'll see. Alright, so let's get back to class. By the way, Portrait Studio is on sale. My last class brought in some attention about where to get my brushes, because my last class was about how to blend, and one of my last classes, and how to use my smudge brush. It's available on my store if anyone's interested. If you get the bundle, you get all of them at a reduced price as well. Alright, so let's get started on today's critique hour. Just gonna have some water on a second. Ooh. Okay, so one of the biggest issues that pops out to me, which is mentioned even in the artist's post, they noticed it as well. I guess they just weren't sure how to approach correcting it, is the color balance. That's the biggest issue. So the color wash that you throw on over an entire image. So the color of the environment is what dictates how much of every other color is visible. What is the color of the environment? How do we decide what the color of the environment is? I just kind of gave it away. But where do you go to decide it? Can anyone answer? I shouldn't be asking questions. I am not on normal low latency. Well, this is how I used to do it, so I can wait. Just gonna check my phone. Literally weird. Can it be turned on midstream? No, you can't. It turns off the whole thing. Ista has a power thirst, energy water, so Ista can kick us in the butt with her energy legs. Does anyone want to, nobody answer? 11th to 18th tentative due date. Noted, thank you. I will take it easy with those caps, man. Is it quiet or is it just me? Yes, it is quiet, but can you guys hear me? No one answered? I'm over here waiting for you guys to answer it. I'm trying to keep you guys engaged. Alright, so the answer is the sky. That's where you go to get the environment color. And I'm gonna just get that color and just plop it there. Just lay that my egg right on top of the canvas. And bring down the opacity and make sure the layer is on color. Alright. Another thing that we do to control the environment is the light. Sometimes I do the same layer as you guys have seen multiple times, but on darken. And I bring that down. That also helps manage the light environment. So two really magical layer modes that change everything. We got spoopy in here. Alright, so before, after. Alright, so then you're wondering, what do I do with gold? What do I do with other things? You've got so much purple everywhere that gold should not be kind of dominating, but if it needs to be. So we're just going to flatten the image. I'm just going to unlock it, duplicate, and then flatten these layers together. And then I can just selectively delete at this layer with like a low opacity, just so that we've at least let some of the gold through, but not so much that because it's a purple environment, gold most likely gets desaturated in that and dulled, because there's no sunlight to bring out. The gold doesn't glow on its own. So there's no sunlight to bring out that color. Alright, so that's enough gold for now. And then what we can do for the gold, which I would probably, I should do later, is just bring in white. Just a pure white color to paint on top. Alright, let's continue. Another thing that we start respecting our environment with is shadows. So I'm going to start on a new layer, just bringing in some stronger shadows. You have good shadows, but they're not confident. And I'm just radially dropping some of these areas here. Okay, so I'm just adding some shadow, and right now I'm not thinking about bounce light. I am just trying to drop the shadows back because it's a very dark scene. And this is going to be helpful for us in the future because we are going to make her eyes very, very glowy. And again, I don't know who this character is. I'm just going to take some creative liberties of my own. Alright, so let's take a look at what just these shadows have done for this team. Alright, so they've really helped it and involve the object into its environment, so it's really helping the piece along. Okay, and as for vibrance, so vibrance is like the saturation. Up that saturation, it's such a dark scene. You only really have purple. She has purple on her. She seems to be like a purple person. Is this character purple? Can you get to the mic closer? I'm not sure why the sound is so low. OBS is telling me I'm actually fine. But I'm also not feeling that great today, so I'm not amplifying my voice as I usually do. How do you know which is the right opacity percentage for the color overlay layers? First of all, it's not overlay, it's darken. And okay, Megan, don't use overlay because it's not the same. Second, I start at 50% and then I see if I want to go lower than that and show less. This character is purple. Her name is Nyx from Hades. Okay, cool. All right, so then I don't have to desaturate her skin. All right, so that is just colors alone. Let me show you the benefits. Look at my anxiety. Look at how much I select the canvas to copy it for the before and after. Who's caught that already? Who's noticed that I do that? So before, after. So here you've got sunlight as if it's daytime against a purple sky with stars in the background. That's nonsensical and not possible. So here we've matched everything. This is just a change in the environment. All right. So the next thing I'm going to start doing is just adjusting the face. These are just ways to make things realistic. So the mouth sticks out so far. Sorry, one moment. I'm just scratching my back. Okay. So the mouth sticks out so far that it kind of feels like she's pushing her lips out. And it's not really, I wouldn't call it the model pout or a fierce pout or something like that. I would just call it just a bad rotation, bad stacking. So start with the Cupid's bow always. And then her mouth is closed and she's not smiling, so there shouldn't really be an extension to that lip tail that you guys always add on. And then the upper lip needs more of a C projection out, which is I think what you were trying to do. But you did the whole mouth. Tuck that in. And then do the lower lip. And then just get that septum droop a little under control. Okay, and I think overall the rotation in the eyes is fine. I'm not sure if I would say everything else is though, just because of the way you highlighted the nose and worked on it. Is this crashed? Come on now. I've had a hard enough day as it is. Can you just work? I'm like here doing this despite being sick, so if you could just like work. All right, thanks. Okay, so in case that happens again, I'm just gonna save. All right, so I'm gonna start just rendering. So I'm gonna use that purple and just radially dropping so that it's more of a musculature. You know, it's more of a muscular kind of lip shape. And it actually feels like an organic grouping of muscles. And then I'm just going to overblend the mouth a little bit so it feels more natural. Why is the cursor so jittery? We never figured out why. Okay, I'm just overblending the mouth. Again, I'm so sorry for being slow today if I am slow. I'm not feeling so great. It's just an off day. Alright, so because the light is striking from a nearby, it's not only aiming at the temple, it's more aiming at, or it's just, I mean, it's pretty rotated. I wouldn't say we need a cast shadow. I think that part of the nose would get some light. Which leads me to my next part of my critique, which is that you have kind of hidden a lot. You're showing the nose is in a different lighting than the rest of the face, basically. Right. So that part of the cheek rotates in and out, and then that part of the lip gets some light. I'm not trying to age her too much, just giving her a natural muscle to her face. So remember, there's age and wrinkling, and then there's just what muscles do. And I'm going to grab a nearby, like, saturated purple just for the blush, because she is purple, so her blush will be purple. And then but it's a dark value. And I'm just using it here. The character isn't actually purple. Okay. She is pale. She needs vitamin D supplements. I need vitamin D. Alright. Again, it doesn't really matter. I'm not here doing fan art. I don't care if I don't even stay true to the character. The fundamentals are still the same. Okay. And then for the eyes, because they're hidden, I'm going to try to involve more strength in there in the rendering, so try to get those eye corners out, always catching some ambient light. Wrong value. Lip wrinkles, and then I'm going to choose the highlighter value and radially climb up. And just to try to get some sheen on the upper eyelid. Alright, and then just try to catch some bounce light nearby to go under the eyebrow, but it's a slight amount, don't overdo it. Alright, and again, don't worry too much if things aren't fully visible, because we will bring in some form of bounce light later. So her nose drops into a little bump, so that bump should show up. And then I'm going to try to block in the top of the nose and some shadow, because it would not be getting that much light. Alright, and if there is an opportunity for bounce light, that'll all come back, that form that we've lost. You lose form when the lights go off, right? you can bring it back by turning on another light as bounce light. Alright, and then I'm just gonna continue the smudging here around the mouth. Really, the lips have taken over because the eyes are... When you have hidden eyes, the lips take the focal point. Write that back. So if you have a character who's blindfolded, you want to, you know, like a seer or a character that's blind, you want to exaggerate the detail on the mouth a little bit just because that's all that's left. It's not the nose. The nose is like, the way humans see noses on their own, it's obscene. So if you've ever just like looked at a nose, it just makes you want, we just kind of learn to ignore our noses. Like, what the hell is a nose? Like, have you ever looked at a nose alone? Like, have you ever just looked at how gross noses are? And that's just like, that's me talking on from a human perspective, you know? So when mouths are different, eyes are different because they seem to be attached to the sight, you know, and speech and you know, just like active senses that see, obviously, yes, the nose is a sense, but active characterizing senses. So the mouth and just what you act with. You can act with your nose, you can flare it up, but it's kind of just how we act is with our mouths and with our eyes. So we don't really notice the noses as much, since we also can't really move our nose apart from flaring them up and other muscles pulling on them based off what our mouths do and scrunching them up, you know, but that's hardly a motion in comparison to what eyebrows can do for expression. So when you have eyes that are looking away or hidden and they're not looking forward at the viewer, and you've got you know, a downturned face, a 3/4 view, you're missing a lot of points for characterization. What's left for us to use then to make this character interesting? It's the mouth. So make sure you're pushing that. Okay, so I'm going to just continue structuring the cheekbone because it's feeling a little bit sharp. And I'm going to see if my flip still, okay, cool. My flip still works. And then I'm not sure what I want to do with the mouth, if it really is like lip gloss, but I'm just going to go ahead and try to turn it into that. I'm just using dodge tool right now. Anytime you have pigment that's stacked, that's what you use, which is dodge tool. But again, it's about vibrant pigment. It's not always the best tool to be using ever, so be very careful. Dodge tool's got a warning label on it. Noses are weird, yeah. And then I'm gonna try to get the nose to feel a little bit more 3/4 view and less side view. So we want to show more of the cavity and less of a slit. So I have to go in there and edit as well and paint in the value. What the fuck did I just do? We probably could just do it without that. Or, you know what? So I've moved it from there. See what I mean about side view? And here it's a little more rotated towards the front. Before all that, I'm just going to start putting in the shine of the nose. The nose is more oily, so we can shrink our brush a lot sooner for the shine of the nose. And then we're going to carry that same kind of dewy sweat that we get around the nose and Cupid's bow area. I have to readjust the Cupid's bow. Make sure not to have a Cupid's bow that's too dark or too strong. Excuse me. And bringing some shine into the side of the nose where the light can reach. So that was a big one. And then the bottom of where some water always hangs out. So I think this for the most part has corrected the purple skin, but I don't really care since the skin should have been purple for the wash anyway. Not sure why my smudge brushes going Super Saiyan on me. The canvas. So really the feature is the mouth cheek area. So whatever really ends up being, and I'm just going to make like a little circular curves here, just to combine that cheek and shadow and cheekbone and blush area all together. Just like that, just in one big contour. And then descending the rest of the face into shadow. Alright. So before I did that, do I need to go backward? No, I don't. Alright. Next thing is what's happening with the eyes. So the eyes right now are not really, we're not really going to treat them the way we would with, you know, eyes that are natural, non-magical in this kind of environment. We're going to just do magic on them, which is not what you did, because what you did was you sort of made them glow, but only nearby, but they didn't really affect anything. And there was a kind of like an emanation into the eyelids. You don't even need to do that. You just need to make the entirety of the eyeball glow. The eyeball will illuminate itself before it illuminates anything nearby. So it's a standard to just try to make it illuminate. And that's where we get that contrast that we feel is missing. And that's how we could reassert the focal point back on the eyes, since the eyes were downturned and non-existent. That's why I don't study so much eyes that are closed, and if I do, it's just like I never publish that study, because like, what's the point, you know? Eyes, yeah, eyelids are beautiful, sure, but we want that whole framing. We want the whole package. So I'm limiting the glow you had, because if we do have to add a glow, we will add it, you know, as a whole. So now that I've added that highlight, we can see one eye is too high. Probably should do it with liquify, since I can push the curve of it. So we want to push that curve. The sphere of the eyeball is visible most when we rotate the eye in 3/4 view. Okay. And then I feel like you kind of pushed that a little too much, that sag of the 3/4 view. And I'm going to exaggerate what's happening with the eyebrows on one side. And if there is supposed to be a smile, you could probably add it in. If she's like having an emotional experience, you could raise the inner eyebrow up. That way we show that vulnerability. So you see that? She's a bit softer. Right, so there's a lot that you can do with these expressions. Flip the canvas and just, maybe I don't need to go into liquify again. Right now I'm just blending out some stuff. So again, if you do need, and one thing that you could do is just like you did over there, is to get back another layer of focal point, you could turn the pupil into a more strong value, one of the brightest, most saturated values, and that'll really help you establish focal point. Excuse me. I was foraging for food before class, that's why I'm hiccuping. I'm always doing that before class, that's why I'm always having like burps or, oh, what the heck was that? I am sorry. They make my students so uncomfortable too. I'm just gonna copy paste for the other side just because I haven't got the time. Oh, what a patience. Alright. Flip the canvas just to make sure they both look like they're looking in a similar direction. Don't have to dim it as much just because it is magical. Again, I don't know how this character even works, so that's not the point of today. And then now, just within the confines of, actually before I do that, actually I think I should do that first, of the eye, that's how I'm bringing in the glow. Does she glow this much? Istebrak, you just said you don't care. Like, what? I don't care. So I did that on purpose. I did it first because what I wanted to do is right under that, actually, these two babies are the pupils. That is that, and that is nothing. Alright, right under all that, I'm just going to darken the eyes a touch more, because that'll really bring out the shine in the eyes. And since the eyes don't even have that much form, if we darken it a touch more, we're not going to lose a lot. Alright, so let me show you before and after. So before, after, the glow really comes out this way. Okay. You can choose not to have it, but I think it adds that really nice ambience to it. Alright. As for everything else, the gems, the hair, so I'm just jumping in with some dodge tool here. I'll go back and erase away at some stuff. You can break certain rules with gems. Gems are like, especially in magical scenes like this, we take them as a light source because they catch so much light that we don't need to treat them as matte as we treat everything else. So they do come with a certain rule breaking, you know, area here. So I'm oversaturating them. I'm not really worried about borders because I'm just going to catch the layer and bring it back. And then I'll just lower things down. And just jump in before I did all that. Oops. Okay. And then just delete. Oh, that earring. Is it behind or in front of the hair? I don't know. Okay, and then I might just decrease their opacity just a touch. Okay, so the ones in the back definitely need less opacity than the ones in the front. Okay. And then I'm going to start bringing in a little bit more color on the mouth. Maybe with darken a saturated lipstick color. Some more blush, and blush really just sits on the mid-tones of the cheeks. A little bit of that same purple on the nose, more of that same purple on the eyelid. I would just really go for it since we don't have a lot happening and it's a nice shade. And then some of that same purple, but on the hair mid-tones. And then same thing with Dodge Tool. Oh, Dodge Tool was on mid-tones this whole time, no wonder. I'm just doing little motions for the shine in the hair. Basically, it's just rendering a 3/4 view 14-day challenge face. You've just added more characterization. You've watched the villain challenge, so you know how to make a character look like a villain if she is a villain. I don't know. And basic light environment rules for a darker scene. So now I'm just going to take some creative liberty of my own with regards to the bounce light color. Before I do that, that sky behind is so disruptive for the focal point because it is really, really, really sharp. So blur, Gaussian blur. You should just blur it so that it's out of the way. And this one did not get blurred. And you do have the option of making it a little bit brighter as well. Let me just show you how that will look. Just a touch brighter, but more saturated for the scene that we need. Just because we need that kind of like push in the background for the silhouette. So it still reads as stars. It's just a little bit filter, blur. Gaussian blur first. And then you can jump in and throw those celestial clouds, you know, where you need it. I'll try to do that with a dark blue tone. But at least we have a more, like a stronger silhouette now. And that earring can kind of come out of the shadow. The earring does need to be a little bit darker though, just because there's no light on it. And then finally after this, I'll take care of the gold on the lit side. Still not comfortable with these colors. Might do one more color balance layer at the end. So sponge tool on desaturate. All right, and then it's really just you're just exploring mostly for the gold. You're just seeing what will work, what won't. So we need the right magnitude in the color for sure. So we're going to start with that. And then try to figure out other ways that gold golds. It's okay if the colors are wrong. Remember, we're just thinking in grayscale. I'm just trying to get the shine and the sheen right. So just random patterns for sheen. Really doesn't need to be anything quantified like a scientific level. That's too bright, but I do like the sheen underneath. I don't know what that blue tone is. God, it's been there the whole fucking time. Is it not going away? Oh, okay. And then I'm going to decide on the right hue, and then one more time I will color correct. And gold works in these bands. So the hue for the color, it can be yellow or it can be gold, more warm. I think the yellow of the eyes is really great, but we'll see. Because you can't really go for like a warm gold. It's just not gonna work. But that yellower value might work. And I'm just borrowing from the eyes now. We'll kind of unify all of the units of yellow, units of purple. So that way you have something that makes a bit more sense. Instead of multiple kind of types of yellow, different types of purple, etc. There is a point where the earring goes into shadow, but then it can also illuminate back up when it comes out of the shadow. Okay. And then I think I want to add the bounce light after. But let me push the gold one more time with the natural white. And again, this is just because I'm not sure what to illuminate her with. So I'm just taking the standard, which is the natural white color. But she could be illuminated with the purple light source of the environment. She could be nearby a purple planet or whatever it is. So it could be a complete purple wash. Okay, I'll darken this half eventually. That's why I'm pushing the gold so much, because there's going to be a bit of a shadow this way. This also is a thumbnail within a greater canvas, so you should be trying to paint bigger scenes. So darken on half. And this will help me decide how much of that gold would even be allowed. And that darken is also on a purple, so maybe I'll saturate it a bit more. And that should also help us. So I like what that darken did to the gold, but not so much to the face. So I'm deleting at the face radially. See that? And so it's controlled in most of the environment. And I'm not sure if I want to use that same value, but on color mode, but because I saturated, so I don't really need it, but it could very well help us. So see, there's still warmth in her forehead. Ugh. So when you think about the light environment, it really does reward you because it makes everything match. And then merge down, and then I'll do that little shadow once and for all before I bring in the bounce light, which will make everything pop. The bounce light should be like sorry, one moment. Should be a vibrant color you haven't used yet. So something like this might be fun. I always go for this one, but it's up to you guys. And that'll make everything kind of come out of the shadow. I might change it and just scroll through different colors just to see how they work. But this is on the shadowed side. And we're kind of outlining, but be very careful. It is not an outline. It is a full-on brightness. It's just catching some edges that based off our camera angle are seen as lines, like a rim light. Rim light isn't like a phenomenon or something, it's just camera angle. It's basic light behavior. Right, and then I'm probably going to just make it into a gradient moving down so the forehead and the nose don't end up getting that much. And then erasing away, so we always put more than we need and we delete what we don't. But do you see why I had to extend the chin into more than just a line? Because the chin is a sphere and spheres curve. We see what spheres do because they don't have edges. Before I delete any more, we're going to get the rest of the face. And because the face is also on a rim light, the nose tip might get more just because the nose tip has emerged out of the shadow of the face where we only see the rim light, as you can see, outside of which we see the rim light. So that's why only the tip of the nose will get most of that bounce light or secondary light. The mouth not so much, the chin maybe. And it's just the hairs of the skin really catching that light, so it's not like there's tiny little hairs on the mouth. And we've brought in a nice new color. Even if it's minimal and will be erased and erased again and blurred. So mostly where we get hair catching it and carrying, like subsurface, carrying that light up. Sometimes it's just the lower lip, lower part of the lower lip and the lower part of the upper lip and lower part of the lower lip get the bounce light. It's not a full outline of the lips. Just something like that. You see how I'm doing it zoomed out because it's such a tricky little thing to try to balance zoomed in. You'll do it and then you zoom out like, oh shit, I used too much. So make the biggest decision zoomed out, and then if you need to clean or, you know, add an area where you just don't have enough aim to access, you can zoom in. And then filter, blur, Gaussian blur. It's supposed to be softer. And now I'm just going back and using the edge of my soft brush to soften it even more. Remember, the texture of light is soft brush. And then just the lower part of the neck. And it really is your choice how much you want to do of this bounce light. Like, you know, if you want to make it work all the way up and around, do so. That was a perfectly fine brush stroke. Why did I control Z that? And I'm just now adding that to the hair. Hair is very shiny. It'll reflect more. You see how you really needed to blur those stars. They were just crazy in the way. There should be some sheen on this hair from the secondary, that turquoisey color. Do you see how it wasn't important for us to keep everything super light? Because we were always going to bring this in, and that was going to redeem most of the shadow on the left side of the painting. Again, I apologize one more time for being so monotone today and kind of low energy. Probably did a really bad job on today's critique hour too. And then just good with color mode, not with any advanced thing, just color mode. I'm gonna put some of that blue in the gems. Oh, I'm on a separate layer anyway, might as well just merge them now, but actually that was fine too. Natural, looks great. Boosting it is a bit tricky just because, like, it's just not classy to overdo your secondary ambience. But you know, like now I'm like 130. No, I'm like what is it, Abu? 100% plus 30 is how much percent? It's not 130. Is it 130%? It's 100% plus 30%. I know 100 plus 30 is 130, but I'm saying the total fraction. I don't know what I'm talking about. Me and math are not great. Alright. Other things I want to do is just try to make something work with the focal point of the eye. So you see how we did that soft edge? So I'm going to try to make it a sharper edge, and I'm going to try to see if I can get the water line to reflect the gold of her pupil, moving all the way inward. Alright, and same thing on the other side. And then you could, based off the character, I don't know what you fanboys are drawing these days. Like, do some interesting detail here. Sometimes you do just have to shrink your brush and add some swirlies. It's not always about being a pro all the time. Actually it is, but sometimes pro plus swirlies. And there's really no reason to not like try different like colors in there, you know, like maybe a blue or something. I feel like we've missed an opportunity to throw in some shine. You know that area right under the lower eyelid stemming just out of the... Yeah, just there, out of the inner corner. Sometimes it just catches some light. The eye still feels a bit forced. Oh, I'm on a completely different layer. Let's liquefy. Feels a bit forced, that rotation. Try to just get the core curve of the sphere of the eye. And I feel like a stronger rotation this way. It might be nice. I don't even know if I did this the way I wanted to. I don't even know. I wish I could flip the canvas in the middle of liquefy. Can I do that? Let's just forget about it. And then I feel like the inner corner would also glow a touch. Just a little. It's a little too droopy this way. You really see it when we flip. Maybe I could hand paint then, just null that droop. And then just cut it off from here. Some lashes might help us understand. Right, and the rule for that is blur it. Oh. I don't know why my brush isn't. Okay, and then just trying to like push that sheen on the, whoops, wrong layer. And then there's just that upper eyelid detail that we get sometimes, and you can use a light value or a dark value to make it feel like the lids have a wrinkle. So it's like grab the light, make a line, grab the shadow, make a line under it, and that's just pretty much it. You've shown the wrinkle and its shadow. And always blur if you can. Sometimes I like to go in with sharpen tool and just pick areas I like and sharpen them. Areas like I feel like I did well. Just to exaggerate them a little. For the lips, you just want to put the shine on like the edge of the lip. And like right there. Alright, I think that's it for what I wanted to do with this one. I hope you liked it. I did miss one thing, which is the lashes catching. Some of that light. Just on the out, don't make it go all the way in like a noob. Just have it sit on the outside, because that's really the only lashes that are getting it. Kind of want to polish the cheeks just a bit more. Oh, and of course, the core shadow of the nostril, which I overlooked. This little dude. Which is why that nostril may not feel perfect. If you feel like you need to, you know, get rid of, if you want to just connect the upper lip to the cheek, you can also do that. I feel like I like her face looking more Indian. You know, that really strong cheekbone, prominent upper lip. I feel like she's like dressed up like an Indian princess, you know, with the ears and stuff. So, like the earrings. So I just kind of met it halfway. And then about that gold shine, it can be as simple as plop, plop, and then just lowering that down. So it's your choice if you want to keep that. Look at how cool it looks when we darken the whole scene. And like boost this. Kind of just feels like a dark comic book. You don't darken the bounce light though. If you do end up wanting to darken the whole scene, you don't darken the bounce light. You keep it. One thing I want to do now that I'm out here is just boost the bounce light towards the lower half. Just now that I see that. But I don't know if I want to publish it with the gold plops or without. Maybe a smaller plop. Like you did. But more fuzzy and overlapping everything. Not trying to paint it in or blend it. Light doesn't really blend. It just does what it wants. And everyone's got to listen to it. So I did a couple small ones and one big one. I like it. Hi, Para Egg. What's up? Yeah, going back to what I said, now that added yellow is starting to look like a green. I wouldn't make it warm. I wouldn't make it a warmer yellow because it's not going to work with that purple. And I'd go back and try to get this to look like yellow again, which is just the slider. Just because now that we dimmed it. So it matches. Small change, but based off the eye of the artist, I'll just leave it won't change. Okay, so let's take a look at the before and after. Before. So she did have black on her inner eye. That's probably how the character is. I say without. I made it smaller. Would the lashes receive the yellow glow of the eyes? They'd eclipse them. But I mean, unless you're like going for that Castlevania drawing where everyone is albino and everyone's got white lashes, I just don't see them as important after. So it looks more moonlit. I wouldn't say moonlit, no. It looks more ambient, like actually a moonless night almost. It looks more like nighttime. The glow of her eyes make a bit more sense. And that extra ambient light really helped. Of course, there's the rendering on the face, understanding radial shading, making a face look three-dimensional. Do your 14-day challenge. I didn't blend this little bad boy out. Oh, and then there's the, sorry, my bad, I'm just being a perfectionist today. I haven't been doing a lot of personal work. This is like as creative as I get. I just proxy your creativity and just paint over your work. I just wanted to add the bounce light of the nose. Definitely less flat, respecting the light environment. Much more atmospheric. You can also desaturate if it's too much purple for you. It still works. Remember, I did push the saturation. Really, the differences are so minimal. It just depends on really how you're presenting it. League splashes are extremely saturated just because it's more pizzazz, more microtransactions. you know. But, oh, by the way, please vote for Udir, please. Abu made you guys Portrait Studio, and I know you paid for it, but Abu really wants an Udir rework. Look, he's the poor guy. He's been asking for one for literally 7 years. Can you? If they've never reworked Udir, please vote for Udir. Can you change your vote? Change your vote. Vote for the future of our nation. Vote. Go out and vote for Udir. So yeah. I don't know. You guys choose which one you want. More saturation, less saturation. I'll keep the more. This is America after all, capitalism. And then as for the stuff I like to do, which is just like scroll through the slider and see what's, ooh, suddenly she's evil. It doesn't work as much. Now she looks like a ghost. Yeah, it's not always great. But this one's cool-ish. And then this one is also cool. You know, you can only stay analogous. You can't really do too many jumps around. It's up to the artist what they want to do. Please vote for Udir. If Udir loses, the election was definitely stolen. Before, after. Does anyone want to recap on all the changes we made to make this more atmospheric, more publishable, more leak splashy? Does anyone want to cover the changes? So I saved, but I'll go back. So we have that. So I'll toggle on and off. What were some of the changes we did? Damn, I love the dark orange. Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, you're so boring right now. It's like they took 5 minutes to take off. Take of the champion's abilities, like to build him. Yeah. You will never take back Udir with weakness. We have to show strength. Fucking traitor. Alright, anyone want to give me some bullet points? What did I change? Come on, guys. Last critique hour of the Trump administration. In the after, the skin respected more of the environment with the added purple color all over the illustration. Excellent. The color of the sky is light. It's affecting the painting. What's the term for that? Even though Udir is boring, he's actually sleeper OP right now if you use him as a top laner. What do you think, Abu? You want to Udir top? I'm not going to the gym after class. I'm just going to be leaguing all night. Alright, any more bullet points? Incorporate the light environment. Good, yeah, that's the term, is light environment. And then just some basic symmetry issues with the eyes. The nose rotation, the nose shadow, the light of the nose. See how the light was on the cheek from the side, but this light on the nose was from the front. Showing the strength of the muscle structure, but not really aging her. She's still young. It's just like muscle. The bounce light redeemed the dark side. Removed over sharp stars, adjusted saturation, added glow. Added glow adds more atmosphere, yes, and also creates stronger focal point. Light environment, rim lighting to show better form, focal contrast in eyes due to hidden closed eyes, better control, oversaturated purple tones. Beautiful. Okay. So thank you everyone for watching today. I really appreciate it. To get more classes like this, please subscribe and like. I never say that, it always feels weird. Go to Istebrak.com to join us on Reddit. So go to Istebrak.com, click on the Reddit icon here, and take a look at our community challenge. The winner gets critique hours with me, where we work on your skills and diagnose, your current skill set. And I give you exercises to strengthen them. We aggressively tackle all of your issues and then help you continue building your portfolio with more really cool designs. So that's the reward for this community challenge. If you've ever wanted to book with me and don't know how, you get 2 to 3 sessions. I'm not sure how I wanted to space them out. And then the poll winner, the community winner, also gets rewards, brushes if you don't have them, an art pack, like art pack meaning like a bundle of gifts. That also might be the judge's reward. I'm still not sure, but yes, if you want to join, get all that, you can join. I'm so tired. Portrait Studio is still on sale, and so are my brushes. You saw my brush use today. Happy Inauguration Day tomorrow. I hope you guys have fun. I hope nothing horrible happens to our beautiful dear leader. Our dear leader Biden, Papu Biden. I hope nothing happens to Grandpapu Biden. I hope Grandpops is gonna be okay tomorrow. I hope Auntie Harris is also gonna be okay. It's been a long journey, but let's not forget the real hero of today's game. You want to know who the real hero is? Stacey motherfucking Abrams. Okay, she is Khaleesi. She's the real queen of this whole situation. If you don't know who she is, look her up. That right there is a monument to democracy. That right there, that lady right there. All right, so take a look at what she did. So yeah, have a fun inauguration day tomorrow. God willing, nothing crazy happens. Thank you for joining me on today's class. I'm sorry for feeling so ill and weak, but I hope to, give you guys a lesson worth remembering. Good luck with all of your challenge submissions. I'll see you guys on Thursday, hopefully. I'm not sure how this whole health situation I'm in this red episode is going. I might be just as weak, if not weaker, than today on Thursday. So it's no promise that I'll see you on Thursday the 21st. But I will see you hopefully on the 21st. All right, bye guys.